It's week 3 in college hockey, and already the action is heating up. Tonight, the Minnesota State Mavericks come home to take on the Colorad College Tigers. Victory continues to elude MSU, tying 3 or 4 games to start the season. Colorad College found the win column last week and looks to add 2 big WCHA wins against the Mavericks. Also tonight, we take a look at MSU senior leadership when we spotlight senior Kurt Davis. Inside collegehockey.com, senior writer Jess Myers joins us, and we'll have an exclusive one-on-one interview. All this and more coming up on the Charter College Hockey Weekend Pregame Show.
Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to the Charter College Hockey Weekend Pregame Show. I'm Danny Wagner, joined by Alexa Mowry, here to bring you up to date as we enter week 3 of the college hockey season. Tonight, we'll begin by taking a look at this evening's matchup. Minnesota State is coming into tonight with no wins, 1 loss, and 3 ties. Their only loss came this past Friday when they fell 5-2 against a strong Michigan Tech team. Junior forwards Michael Dorr and Justin Jacqueline have already put up multiple goals, while senior Kurt Davis has been racking up the assists. However, once again, MSU has lost several winnable games and let them slip through their fingers. Simply put, getting a win this weekend will be a big confidence boost. However, Colorad College stands in the way this weekend with a 2-1-1 record. Freshman Jaden Schwartz has quickly earned the respect of his teammates, scoring 2 goals and 2 assists in the first 2 weekends. We'll have to see what type of impact he has on the ice this weekend. Rolling back, it's time now to take a look at what happened on the ice last weekend. Alexa?
Well, first up, we've got Boston College at Denver University. Freshman goaltender Sam Britton has only allowed 3 goals in his first 2 collegiate games. He had 30 saves in the last. DU falls to a 1-2-1 record on the season as BC moves up to a 3-0-0. University of Nebraska-Omaha at Minnesota. Nebraska-Omaha jumped out to an early lead and held on to defeat 13th-ranked Minnesota at Mariucci Arena to complete that WCHA opening sweep. Alex Kangas held on the attack as he had 48 shots on goal towards him. University of North Dakota at Bemidji State. Bemidji State held on tight and gave the nationally ranked University of Minnesota all it could handle, with the Fighting Sioux taking the series sweep. Providence at Minnesota Duluth. UMD plays non-conference games against Providence to complete the series sweep. UMD stays undefeated with a 3-0-1 record, while Providence goes 1-2-0. Miami at St. Cloud State. Junior forward Jared Fessler rallies a 3rd period goal to collect an overtime tie against Miami University. Alabama at Wisconsin. The Badgers offense took the lead by outshooting the Chargers 47-17 in a packed arena with 10,769 fans. Badgers take the sweep. Minnesota State at Michigan Tech. As mentioned before, MSU lost their first game of the season to powerhouse Michigan Tech. MSU had 37 shots on goal, while MTU's Kevin Jeno racked up 35 saves. Saturday night, Chase Grant came in with a late goal and forced the game into a 5-5 overtime tie.
Looking at this week's USCHO poll, it is no surprise that Boston College remains on top of the poll with a strong 3-0 start. Last weekend, they took it to Denver by outscoring them 6-2 on Friday, and then shutting them down with a 3-0 shutout on Saturday. So far, Boston has amassed 11 goals and only given up 2. Taking a look at the WCHA teams, Nebraska-Omaha has surprised everyone with a 4-0 start. They were unranked just 2 weeks ago, but now find themselves nationally ranked at 10th. Minnesota Duluth moves up a spot by sweeping Providence, while the University of Minnesota fell from 13th all the way to 20th by getting swept by Nebraska-Omaha last weekend. Now let's take a look at WCHA standings. The newly added Nebraska-Omaha Mavericks find themselves on top this weekend as they remain the only team with a perfect record. And like I mentioned before, the sweep over Minnesota sent the Gophers deep into the cellar. Michigan Tech has been strong so far. They've started the season with 3 wins and 2 losses. And Minnesota State has been able to hang around by racking up the ties. They're winless but have 3 ties and only 1 loss. Minnesota Duluth, Wisconsin, Denver, St. Cloud State, and Colorad College have yet to play a conference game, but most of them have their first conference games coming up this weekend, so things will be certainly able to shake up. We'll have to take a look at it.
Our NHS Spotlight Player of the Week is David Backus. David Backus played 3 seasons with the Minnesota State Mavericks. David also played on the USA men's hockey team in the 2010 Winter Olympics.
And coming up, Joanna Saloff spotlights our senior defenseman Kurt Davis, and I'll spotlight Minnesota senior forward Jay Barabal. But first, well, the man that knows it all inside collegehockey.com, senior writer Jess Myers joins us on the phone to clue us in on this week's action. All this and more coming up on the Charter College Hockey Weekend Pregame Show.
What makes DeGroote's Home Store better than the rest? Great selection, quality products, and exceptional service. Our experienced and knowledgeable sales staff build lasting relationships with you, our customer. We offer free local delivery and professional installation. And we service all that we sell with a fleet of authorized technicians. Over 57 years of exceptional service to our customers. For quality electronics, appliances, and home furnishings,
DeGroote's, your electronics and appliance brand source store.
Welcome back to the Charter College Hockey Weekend pregame show. We have our hockey guru, senior writer Jess Myers from InsideCollegeHockey.com on the phone. Starting out, what are your thoughts on this last weekend's games?
Well, it was a pretty interesting weekend for a couple standpoints. It's not often that you get to talk about the undefeated Huskies, and it's Michigan Tech, for one thing. The Huskies have been a very strong team early, kind of in the season here, and they're being led by Steven Saigo and some other players, not necessarily Brett Olson, who has been pretty much all of their offense the last 2 years. So that's a really refreshing thing for Michigan Tech.
University of Nebraska-Omaha goes into Mariucci Arena and gets a sweep against the Gophers. What does that say about UNO and the Gophers this year?
It didn't surprise me, I guess, to see Nebraska-Omaha win one game. And that Friday night, they came out and they looked very strong. They took a 4-0 lead, then they gave the lead away, and then still managed to get a win. That didn't really surprise me. I mean, I knew emotions would be high. I knew Dean Blaze would have them ready to go. What really surprised me was to see them, win the second night. To me, that shows that there was absolutely no kind of emotional letdown, that they were ready to play. They were ready to win 2 games. Minnesota has got some issues on defense, and I think those issues will be corrected, but that's a team in need of some confidence right now. So congratulations to Nebraska-Omaha. It was a nice weekend for them.
Colorado College at MSU this weekend. Got any thoughts on this matchup?
Colorado College is a dangerous team. I mean, I didn't pick them for an upper division finish just because I don't know what they're going to have offensively. But they've got one of the most exciting, I would say, young players in the country in Jaden Schwartz. He's a freshman. He's already their leading scorer. He's averaging a point a game. He was a high draft pick last year by the St. Louis Blues. He's out of Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Not a huge player. He's 5'10", about 180 pounds, but it's one of those just dynamic forwards and one of those guys that you need to be aware of every time he hops over the boards and heads to take a face-off.
The goaltending for the Mavericks has been a little shaky so far this season. Do you think they can step it up, or is that going to be their Achilles heel all season?
No, I see he's played Austin Lee a little bit. I like Austin Lee. I like his size. The fact that he's 6'3" and he fills up a little bit more than net. He seems pretty comfortable. I guess I don't know as much about Phil Cook right now to make a judgment on whether he's going to have what it takes to take the reins. Troy Juding to me seems to be the kind of coach that if he likes to play one goalie. Doesn't like to rotate him night in and night out. I don't know if you can do that, over the course of a 40-some game season. I don't know if guys wear out. Don Lucia is another one who likes to play one guy when he can, and he's seen his goalies kind of hit a wall come January, February. Joe Howe is a prime example of that. Last year was cruising along, and come about January, you could see he just got tired out. So maybe having to play both Lee and Cook at this point in the season isn't the worst thing for the Mavericks, because they may have a little more gas in the tank come later in the season.
All right, thanks for joining us, Jess. It's always a pleasure. We're going to send you to break with this week's college hockey question. Who was the first Hobie Baker Award recipient, and in what year was it awarded? Was it A, George McPhee, B, Neil Broughton, C, David Emma, D, Tom Curvers? Well, the answer for you when we return to the Charter College Hockey Weekend pregame show.
All Medicare beneficiaries who need assistance getting around their home. Imagine one scooter or power chair that could improve your mobility and your life. One Medicare benefit that, with private insurance, may entitle you to pay little to nothing to own it. One company that can make it all happen.
Your power chair will be paid in full.
The Scooter Store.
Call the Scooter Store for free information today.
Call 1-800-910-7502 and we'll send you this light and magnifier just for calling. Call the Scooter Store now.
Welcome back. Before we went to break, we asked you who was the first Hobie Baker Award recipient and in what year was it first awarded? The answer is Neil Broughton in 1981. He played center for Minnesota at the time. He was part of the 1980 Miracle on Ice U.S. Olympic team and went on to play 17 seasons in the NHL and to win the Stanley Cup in 1995 with the New Jersey Devils. Injury is any athlete's worst nightmare. For senior captain Jay Barable of the Minnesota Gophers, it became an all-too-real reality last year. Just 5 games actually, into his senior year, Barable and his teammate Sam Lofquist collided, tearing Barable's knee ligament and ending his season. He was immediately redshirted to suspend his senior season to the following year. Barable had suffered an LCL tear on the outside of his right knee. Recovery meant 7 weeks on crutches and months of vigorous rehab. But Barable was determined to recover and play out a senior season at Minnesota. Barable spoke about the incident, saying, I was super excited for my senior season at the University of Minnesota, where I wanted to play my entire childhood, my entire time growing up. It was a no-brainer to finish up. Barable spent the season on the sideline watching his teammates struggle and made a very plain but key observation, saying, "We just need to score goals." Well, he wasted no time putting that observation into practice when he returned onto the ice to play out his senior season this year. In the Gophers' opening weekend against Massachusetts, Barable simply scored goals, scoring 4 goals in 2 games, 3 of which came in 1 period, and a 1-period hat trick on Saturday night. Barable earned WCHA Offensive Player of the Week and weekend wins for the Gophers. Needless to say, Barable put all questions about his injury aside and has immediately raised expectations for the 2010-11 season. With his injury behind him, fellow senior Alex Kangas in net, and a new year of Gopher hockey in the works, Captain Jay Barable is ready to make his senior season one to remember. Looking now at another senior in the WCHA, Kurt Davis has picked up the reins for MSU and is leading his team in points. Davis has scored a goal and 4 assists to begin this year, and tonight is our senior spotlight. Our own Joanna Saloff has the story.
Kurt Davis, a seasoned senior leader and a top-scoring defenseman for the MSU Mavericks. He's played hockey nearly all his life, and it's what he loves to do.
Yeah, well, my dad got me interested in playing the game just because he's a high school coach and he's been coaching for like 30 years. And he put me in skates as soon as I was able to walk and try skating.
Having a dad who's a hockey coach has been a definite influence on Davis.
I don't know, I must have got a little head start with the old teaching from my dad and just learning how to do things the right way at an early age, I guess.
And along with his father, the rest of his family has been a support system for Kurt throughout his career.
Yeah, I'd say my family has made a big influence. My dad being a coach and kind of just told me what to do growing up and teach me along the way, and my mom just being a big support, kind of just pushing me along. If I was getting tired, she'd always make sure to push me even harder.
Playing college hockey had always been a goal of Kurt's, and being part of the MSU Mavericks is one of his biggest accomplishments.
I'd say my proudest accomplishment is probably making it to college and playing at the college level. That was a big goal of mine all the way through life. I wanted to play college hockey, and while being here, my sophomore year, I was elected to be on the WCHA third team. Other memories have been out on the ice, just with the guys and winning games, and just remembering what it's felt like, and just how things were when we won, and good times.
As the senior season gets underway, Kurt has high hopes for his team, and we know we'll see great things from number 22.
Our goals are really high. We like to set them high just because you wanna reach the top, and our goals this year are to try and win every game. Our goals are to get to WCHA. We'd like to win. We'd like to get to the national tournament. We'd like to be one of the teams known to be the best in the country.
Reporting for College Hockey Weekend on Charter, I'm Joanna Saloff.
Davis threw some scrum!